Boom! We are here, kids. Welcome, everybody. This is day 2 of our blowing stuff up from Twitch. And I don't know. How you doing, Rory?
I'm doing pretty good, man. There's daylight outside. I don't know, obviously different times of day everyone's watching this, but I do this at about 5 p.m. And over the last few days, things have started to adjust in this part of the world, and we have daylight at this time of day. Soon there will be daylight when I'm finishing. It's going to be awesome.
That's exciting to me, Rory. I can't tell you how excited I am. I live near the equator, and it's like pretty much daylight here pretty consistent year round.
Nighttime.
Yeah, no, it's actually the nights are gorgeous here, right? Super clear air. You can see stars like, oh, this is how TV used. Yeah, TV used to look like this. So good. Well, let's. You left us yesterday, and you, as usual, say, "Oh, I'm confident it's all going to work out." And I'm always panicked whenever you go. Like, there's no way it's going to happen, Rory. It's just no way. You don't understand. Here's kind of where we are right here. Let me show you. I'll kind of lift these up to the camera so you can get maybe a better view of these. There you go. So these are what I'm calling the detonator caps. Now, I feel like, Rory, we've I feel like every show I got to do one of these, right?
Disclaimer! Mark doesn't know Jack!
Mark doesn't know Jack. A disclaimer, right? I know enough to get into a lot of trouble is kind of where I'm at on this.
The fun is in digging out of the trouble, right? You've got to get there first.
I know, but it's the thing I don't like, Rory. It's just about every time I'm deep in, you're like, okay, well, I got to go, Mark. And I'm like, no!
You're in the pit, you've done 6 foot down, and I'm just taking the ladder and I'm off.
Yeah, so here's what I've done. I've taken some votive candles because they were lightweight and about the right size, some votive candle holders. I filled it with clay. I baked the clay yesterday at about, 350 degrees for about 45 minutes. Because it's less than a quarter inch here, and that was basically enough to, according to an expert, my wife, who's an artist, she says it's cured. So excellent.
You've got a non-conductive container now.
Yeah.
In which to put our little explosives. Is that the basic plan?
Right. So basically, the idea, what I want to do is I want to feed a wire up through here. Now, it's important that the metal from the wire doesn't touch the metal of the bottom, right? And if I was watching this show right now and I heard me say this, I would be like, oh man, this guy needs a serious intervention now because this is not a good idea, right? But I need to make sure that the insulation from the wire is up past the bottom metal part here. Right? I need to make sure that's the case because I don't want to accidentally, right? One of them could touch, but one definitely has to be up with insulation through it, right?
One false move and that's it. They're going off without any kind of help.
Roy, keep an eye on the chat room. See if you see any interesting messages out there.
There's 1 or 2 interesting permissions.
Nothing in the chat room?
Messages.
Nothing in the chat room? Okay. Well, we'll keep going.
Now, these guys playing with orbits and drones a few minutes ago, but nothing since that.
Okay, good. I just want to make sure because my wife's sex positive. Sometimes she'll try and troll me out here, and we got to watch. We got to watch for that kind of action. And when we do, we got to be on our best behavior if we see that.
There was one message a little earlier suggested that permission is difficult, but forgiveness is easier.
That's right. I am noticing there's one message out in the chat room, Roy, you might want to take a look at. That might be of interest to you.
No, I think what it is, he's talking about Mr. Blythe. That's the thing.
Oh, not you.
Clearly talking about Mr. Blythe.
Different Roy. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's challenge number 1. I got to get the insulation right there. The other thing is, my thought is, okay, I'm going to take the wire up and I'm going to actually tie a knot in the wire and let it set back down and let kind of, gravity, plus the knot, keep that thing up and tension from pulling it down.
What about some kind of blue tack, white tack wrapped around it after it comes through, and that knot then can, be resistant to going back down that bit even further?
What are you saying? Putting what about it? What are you?
I'm not sure if you guys have this. Is this
white tack?
Hanging posters. So over here we call it blue tack, or
blue tack.
Name version is white tack. But basically, it's a tacky substance, a bit like plasticine. Plasticine would work.
Here's the thing. I'm like in Costa Rica, so my ability to get things
Yes.
is today, for example, I was like, I am looking around the house looking for, things to work for it because I realized I need really another power supply on this. Because I thought I could use the power supply I bought to fire these off. I didn't realize the relays needed their own separate power supply. So we used that power supply yesterday for the relays. Sex Positive says, I have hidden all the things. Speaking of which, holy cow, this morning she comes up to my desk and she's like, what's this? I go, oh, well, I'm glad she's expressing interest. We're really close to her saying yes and giving us permission to actually light stuff off from the bedroom. And I explained to her, very, science wizard like. I say, well, that's nichrome wire. It's heats things up, and there's a neat little table, and she like just takes it and runs. And I'm like, wait, what? And you could overhear in the house, me shouting, give me back the nichrome wire. I have no show without the nichrome wire. I can't do anything. So that happened this morning. Yeah, she's still.
What you need to do is to decorate the desk with many other things which are unnecessary, which might then be taken in lieu of the actual vital things.
Yeah, you might be right on that. She says she's not warm, not even a little bit, but I think I know her better, and I think she's warming up. I think she's going to be totally okay with this, and it's going to be awesome.
You talk about me being positive. I think that's very good, mate.
Yeah. So anyway, with all this positivity, I think we are going to now. As I should also point out, as usual, I got no idea, exactly what or how we're going to make our way through this. Here's the app we built yesterday, by the way. I think this is still going to work. Press any key, really the enter key, to set the relay 0 to true. That's relay 0 right there, I think. And when I hit that, I am going to hit enter on it. And let's see, did I do that? Did it send anything out? Did I have focus here? I'm not sure. Nothing seems to be working here. There we go. Just happened there. Okay, there we go. So there it is right there. And we've got relay 0 set to true. And if I do it one more time, it'll turn it off. So we've got that. By the way, it totally reminds me, there was a little intervention that happened out on Twitter today that I feel compelled to share with you. As usual, people are like, hey, Mark, hold on a second. Let me bring this up. Here it comes. Okay, so here we go. This is the picture I put out on Twitter about an hour ago. And then John Von Gillern says, whoa, dude, please don't ever use relays in firing circuitry. They're not solid state. There's a spring in there. One concussion from the first firing could cause all the relays to trigger at the same time. And I'm like, sounds exciting. And he says, I know a guy who had a $5,000 show get fired off in about 5 seconds instead of 5 minutes. If you're playing around with small amounts of Pyrodex, that is one thing. You don't want to use it for mortars. Too many firing at once can cause the rack to tip and point at your audience. Yikes. So we're actually not using anything that's going to explode. I think we're totally okay with the relays because we're heating up nichrome wire. So I think everything is, while I love the care that John has put into replying to me and to trying to get me on the right track. I think we're going to be totally fine with the relays with this. I think a misfire is going to be a temporary one if it does happen, if there's a little spring, and our show is not going to take off all at once. This is, by the way, you're seeing this on a moving desk here. So if I move the desk a bit, you're going to see the camera move. It's on my walking desk. We talked about that a little bit yesterday. I guess, Roy, I could ask you to throw another link out there
Sure.
for the walking desk, because in case people want to know about what that looks like, what we're working on. Cool. Will Bennett is with us. Will, glad to have you here. Sex Positive says, you don't know me at all. She's warming up. I'm feeling it. I think it's just, you know what it's going to take?
You can feel the love from here.
Yeah.
This is clearly.
I'm going to read up on
now.
neurotypical persuasion techniques, and I'm going to learn those between now and tomorrow, and so everything should be good. Okay. So I don't know what to do next, but I'll tell you kind of what my options are, and we'll kind of figure it out. I need a second power supply. And so what I went around the house and I looked around and I was like, oh, check this out. Here's a power supply right here. This is from the Nintendo Wii that does not work. It no longer lights up. So it actually could be that this power supply isn't working. But I think the first thing I want to do is I want to open this baby up. I want to cut into the wire here, get the multimeter on it, plug it in, and see if I've got anything coming across on the outside.
That sounds extremely safe.
It does, doesn't it? That feels good and safe. There's nothing, explosive or dangerous in that. So I think I'm going to do.
Anyone try this stuff?
I'm going to do that. I'm just checking to make sure it's not plugged in, and it is not. And so let's do this. I'm going to take off my wrist straps. Normally I'm writing code here, but we're not going to write code for right now. We're going to come in and cut in. So I've verified I'm not plugged in here, so there's the likelihood of current going through is incredibly slim. I'm going to cut into here. The other thing that's kind of cool about this is actually the steps needed to figure out what's wrong with this to actually fix the Wii. So I'm going to cut that right there. And then I'm going to take my wire strippers.
Disclaimer! Mark doesn't know what he's doing!
Yeah, that's right. Mark doesn't know what he's doing. There we go. All right. So I'm cutting into that like this. So spinning it around. And there we go. What do we got? All right. So we've got the ground wire on the outside here, and we've got our insulated inner wire with what we presume is likely to be power, and hopefully will be power. So I'm going to now take my wire strippers out here and strip out a little bit of that.
Do you have safety glasses on?
Yeah, I have safety glasses on, honey. It's going to be okay. I've got, see, look, let me show you something. See right, where is it? Right there. See the explosives? Those are far away from the stuff that we're going to light up. Where is it? How do I hold this so that you can read it? There we go, right there. There you go. See, putting this over on the other side of the desk. That's the kind of care we take over here. All right, so now I've got this right here. Now, if you have gone to that link out there for the walking desk, if you scroll to the pictures of the, I'm just going to set that kind of right there. And if you scroll to the pictures of the underside of the desk, I talk about the power supplies. I'm actually about to reach under right now and plug in to one of those power supplies, if I can do that. Where is it? Looks safe, says SQL Mr. Magoo. There we go. I think is that it? No. Well, hold on a second. Hey, Campbell, yeah. Can you help me? Can you plug this in underneath here? I can't find the power strip. I feel like it's close, but I can't quite reach it. Plug that in and tell me when it's plugged in. It's plugged in? Thank you, sir. All right. Let's see if we got...
So you've now got, in theory, an uninsulated live wire.
Yes. And with nothing coming across. Nothing. Not good. Right? Nothing is moving there. Let's just switch those around. Nothing, nothing, nothing. Okay. And if we, just to double check, we're going to come over here. And there, we can see a signal here. Here, can we see it on there? There, it's, oops, not quite. It's off the screen a little bit. And it's moving there. You can see it moving across there. So we got a signal there, some signal there. Nothing here. That's sad. Okay, so something is wrong with here, which, by the way, kind of scares me a little bit. Sex Positive says, "Thank God you have failed." Hey, Campbell, can you unplug that for me again? Yep. The one you just plugged in.
Karen, I'm willing to bet your children have amazing sense of safety. They are very careful about everything, so don't worry.
Yeah, no, they are. You know, is it unplugged, Campbell? Yeah. Okay, cool. So I just want to verify. Can you hand me the cable down there, Campbell? Actually, you know what? I'll pull it up through here. Okay, so that didn't work. Now, that concerns me, right? Also, it tells me what's wrong with the Nintendo Wii as far as why that is not working.
Very difficult for things like that to work with without a source of power. That's true.
Right. The thing that really concerns me about that is the answers to the question why this doesn't have power are like, wait a second. we're starting to look at, is it this cord, the main cord coming into it? Is there something inside? It's that kind of thing concerns me, the point that I think it could be a fire hazard. So I'm a little bit concerned about that. There's a possibility there's a break here, I suppose. Like this is like a common place for a break. But at this point, I think I'm going to be like, okay, not going to work with that right now. So here, let's clean this up a little bit. This is like the world's smallest desk in the world. Here, smallest working desk. All right, so that I do have, however, a backup plan on this baby. Roy, can you give me a link for the nichrome wire?
Yep.
The nichrome wire burning temperatures?
I believe we found that previously.
I found this as well, an extra power supply. And this power supply right here, by the way, you can see this power supply has been repaired and fixed a couple times because we have a dog that is, even though it's in the body of an adult dog, it has the mind of a child dog. And this dog is just like, oh, electrical cords? Yummy, right?
Yummy, yummy.
Yeah. In fact, I was looking for tooth marks on the Nintendo Wii, but I didn't find any. But I was suspecting that he took out. The dog's name is Einstein, by the way. All right, so I'm going to take this and I'm just going to clip it. I'm going to cut it right here. Right? We're going to do the same thing again. This time I'm much more confident that we're going to get power. Now, did you get that link up, Rory? The nichrome? Yeah, I see it.
Through there, it's a Wikipedia link in the chat room.
Let me bring that up. Let's take a look at that. I'm going to bring it over here.
Had all manner of stats on the varying related properties of the nichrome.
All right, so we're working with 24 gauge per inch. This is resistance per inch. Okay, temperature characteristics, current. This is what we're looking for. So here's our gauge. We got 24 gauge. Let's just double check everything. Yep, 24 gauge is what it says right there. We need now, we're going to be lighting up flash paper right there. That's what we're lighting up. The flash paper has an ignition point of about 150 degrees. So it's about 150 degrees. And so that's Celsius that we need to hit. And if it's at 150 degrees, it'll light up in about a second. And if it's at a higher temperature, it'll light up faster. So we're basically looking for a relatively low temperature here, but basically between 200 and 400 degrees Celsius is what we want.
Yeah.
So what that means is we need like 2.76 amps of current to run through that 24 gauge line is what we need. Okay? So that's our goal. And this right here, I may have to switch to my reading glasses. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to do that to see it, which I don't see, really. All right, fine. Well, you'll have to trust me. I'm pretty sure this is at, oh wait, no, I think I can read it. Yeah, it's 2.37 amps at 19 volts. So 2.37. So basically I'm going to get between 204 and 300 degrees. Okay, relatively low temperature, but enough to light it up theoretically. So that's what we're going to do. So let's go ahead and we'll strip this down and we'll do a test on this. As well, let me switch over to this monitor, and holy cow, has my, looks like my camera has reset its white balance, or at least needs it to be adjusted a bit. Let's try that right there. Okay, that looks a little bit better. Okay, so let's do it. Got drones flying around the temperature table. Just gonna rotate, spin that around while I trim it. There we go. Beautiful. Got the ground wire on the outside. Take out the insulation on the centerpiece. Excellent. Let's see how we can kind of hold that up in the air like that. Okay, good. Campbell, are you there?
Yeah.
Can you plug this in now? Are we plugged in?
No. Oh.
Let's see what we've got here.
It's not plugged in.
It's plugged in right now?
No, it's not.
Tell me when it
It's
is.
not fitting in.
You're kidding me, not fitting in? Is it because there's something else blocking it? Another plug nearby it?
Well, no. But like when I try to put it in, the electricity comes.
Let me take a look at it. Hold on a second. It looks okay to me. It's a little, these pieces are a little close together. Just try that. Can you at least get it lined up in the right spot? And maybe I'll try to use a little more force. All right, I'm going to push my desk back a bit.
Oh,
Okay. Is it, that just
Doesn't
happened.
sound good.
Yeah. Didn't sound good, didn't look good. All right, hold on a second.
Dad, when I try to plug it in, it kind of like electrocutes. Not electrocutes me, but here, I'll try the other plug.
You're saying there's a spark or something when you try to plug it in? Hold on.
Oh, I got it in.
It's
got it
in?
on the other one.
Okay, thank you. All right. All right, let's see if we've got power here, which I'm expecting to see.
Okay, so we're testing the second power supply to see exactly what comes out of it.
Yeah, we're expecting to see something here. And there we go. Totally awesome. All right, so we're good there. We definitely have power. All right, I'm going to unplug just this part right here and drape that over one of the bars under the desk. So we're just going to work with this piece right here, and it's not going to have any, won't have any piece on it. It won't have any power to it. Okay, so we verified that we have power there. So we can now use this, we can use this here. The next thing we have to do is we have to wire up one of these guys right here. And I'm just noticing, I've only got 3 of these on my desk. Did I lose one? Did one just drop in my, in that attempt to plug it in? That might have happened.
Yeah, I think
Also,
if the multimeter went off, perhaps it dragged one with it.
yeah, it might have happened. Hey, Campbell,
Yeah?
one more request, buddy. Actually, 2. Can you hand me the needle nose pliers there
Yeah.
on the treadmill? And also, if you see another one of these on the floor, can you get it and hand it to me as well if you see it? Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of this wire. Let's grab this. So this is the other piece that I'm kind of working with. So I went around the house and I was like, what can I find? And this right here, let me put it over here so you can kind of see the whole thing. So it's this LED light. And this also kind of stopped working at one point in time. I think it did because of the piece that was delivering power here just was eaten or chewed or something by Einstein. But what's cool about it is I've got all this wire and I was thinking, oh, cool. Well, I can use the wire in here to lead up to this and we can kind of make that work. Oh, you found it. Thank you, Campbell. Good job. All right, nice. We've got 3 of those and that looks like it survived the fall. And so what I think I'm going to do, these are my thoughts, like for now, Rory, is my thoughts are put power into the relay right here, at least, one of into the center, plug of the relay.
Yeah.
Run the line out from there into this, stick the nichrome wire across, and then the line back out to the other side of power right over here. And then flip the switch, but only for a short period of time. Do you have more stuff you want to give me or no? No, don't worry about that. That's all good. Thanks, Camel. So that's what I think I'm going to do, which means I've got to start cutting wire up here. So I'm going to use this as my supply. Normally, if I was doing this in a place where it was easy to get access to all of these kinds of the right materials, there would be 2 things I have that I don't have right now. One would be epoxy, and I would use epoxy on the knot down here to hold this in place, or at the bottom.
Yeah.
Because of its resistance, at least my belief is its resistance to fire and its low conductivity. But instead, I have another idea, which I'll talk about when I get to that point of how to hold that in place. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some wire from here, and I'm just enough to work with, so we can kind of get one going and see how it works, and then maybe tomorrow we'll do a little more. But let me think about how long I want these wires to be. I think I need them to be about like that, and that'll give me plenty. I think I want to have 3 of these. So I'm going to cut that. So we're going to put this over here. This is really different doing this instead of software, isn't it, Rory?
It is. It is very different, but it's quite nice to see how the practical, because it's a secondary type of engineering. We have software engineering and we have physical engineering, and the distinction between the two most of the time is that in software, well, we get to throw everything away and recreate it as many times as we like with no real net effect. Here you have limited resources, you shape them the way you want, and if it doesn't work, well, we can maybe hybridize what you wind up with, or we can start again but with a fresh set of resources.
Yeah.
So we've got to be just a little bit more careful. There are real world effects that we can have here as well.
Yeah.
But it's definitely an interesting take on the sort of building things.
Yeah,
which
so
both would sort of fall into the category of.
Yeah. So I think I'm going to do this, something like this. And I'm like, you know what? I think I am going to, I'm wondering if I should leave a little bit of, I should tie the knot with the insulation in it. Because the temperature, the temperature goes to about 200 degrees Celsius, but it's like, it's going to lift up. It's going to be above this anyway. And then that definitely guarantees there's never a short down here, or definitely reduces that likelihood by a lot. The other thing I just realized I think I want to do, because of the ultimate way I'm going to mount this, hold on, let me bring this over again, is I think I might want to actually put this around here as I mount this on. Because what I want to do is ultimately this thing I wanted to set it on here, and like that. That's kind of ultimately what I want to do. Have it sitting on this lamp, and I'm going to use the clamp to clamp it in the right place, and the flexibility of it to bring it so that these flash spots we're making are just sitting right underneath the camera view. And Roy, can you tell everybody what the whole thing is we're doing here? Why we're doing all this?
Absolutely. So we have varying reasons for creating interactive content for this stream. So as you can see at the moment, we have drones moving around, some of which have got meteors been deposited on them, but we built very much more than that. We have the ability to put walls up that these meteors can be thrown, by the way, and then can bounce off the walls. And the idea is to construct some kind of a game, some kind of a level in which there are walls that would, we've got another view here where we would take Mark's image and put it sort of dead center, but maybe a quarter of the size. And the idea is to build a protective wall around him, and then to allow people to interact with the game such that they can fire their meteors off and attempt to strike him somehow, to have the explosion happen within the same area that Mark is on screen. This wouldn't be a direct shot, of course. You'd have to negotiate your way round the walls, maybe try a trick shot or two. And the theory is that whomsoever will manage to get that done first and correctly will trigger some real explosives. That is to say, we could flash paper and so forth, in front of the view of the camera, so that you take a software approach through the chat room. I should emphasize that this is all controlled through the chat room. So you control your drone, you capture a meteor, you position yourself correctly, you make the trick shot, it hits Mark, and then we trigger not an on-screen effect, but actually a real-life effect of a minor explosion live on camera.
I love it.
And that's basically the idea. It's all about blowing Mark up, really, is the simple way of putting it.
I love it. So while you've been talking, I tied knots in both of these, and they're holding on pretty well. I feel really good about this. So I feel good about that. I also decided not to mount it, through this while we were talking as well, because in the back I can fold one of these like across, like that, and then I can still mount this on here. By the way, one of the ideas I have for mounting this is to use these magnets I've got right here, because get a couple of these. These are those neodymium magnets, and get like
Pretty strong, aren't they?
Yeah, one epoxy one here, epoxy one there. It'll hold it in place, and then maybe use some other epoxy or something to get it oriented the right way. I'm not entirely sure about that, but I'm, we're playing with, different ideas. Okay. So, however, I am feeling really good so far about this. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull this up a bit, and I'm going to trim the wire because I don't need that much in here, and trim it to about like maybe there, about 2 centimeters, I think. And do the same on this side, about 2 centimeters. And then strip this. And what's funny is we're actually about to be able to do the first test to see if this nichrome heating works. I'm going to do it totally manually without the relays. Just plug in the piece and we'll see what happens. And if it works, because so far we're essentially running theoretical right now this whole time.
True, yeah.
So
let's have a quick run through of what we've got here, because there's quite a few cables going on here now, and one of course you've taken pieces of and you're stripping and all the rest of it. So we have a set of 8 relays, which we have a USB connection to from the computer, which is allowing us to control those relays. Other than that, we originally assumed that there'd be enough power coming through that to actually power the relays. This is not the case. They have an independent power supply, so that's the second cable you see going into the relays there. You at the moment are now constructing a cable to take a charge into the specially designed pots, which will hold the quote explosives, and that will take remind me, is this the nichrome wire?
yeah, well, I'm about to put it in. I just took the nichrome wire right there, right? I took the nichrome wire and I cut off about 1 inch of it, and I'm about to solder that nichrome wire to these 2 ends right in the middle. So that I'm going to give it like a little bit of a bump. So the idea is I lay the paper on it so it's touching against it. And that's theoretically all I should need, right, for this.
The wire you've worked with up until this point is going to be clamped into the relay itself.
Yeah.
That, then when it's triggered, we'll take the charge up that length of wire into the pots. The charge will be transferred to the nichrome wire, and that will deliver a heat to a suitable level of heat to the flash paper, which will cause it to explode.
Yeah. That's exactly kind of, it'll cause it to incinerate.
What could possibly go wrong? This is great.
I'm feeling pretty good so far. Nothing could possibly go wrong. That is the answer. By the way,
Like a good plan.
remember when you were saying before that you think, I have a feeling that Mark's kids are, pretty, what were you saying about with regards to?
I was suggesting that they were probably fairly safety conscious.
Yeah, they are. We actually, when we were in the river, playing by the river, and like there was some accident that happened where somebody was like almost taken away, and I went in and rescued that person. And then after that, I'm with my daughter, and I'm like, hey, do you want to play the danger game? And she's like, what's the danger game? And I'm like, I throw you out into the rapids, and then I catch you just as you come swimming by me. And she's like, okay. And so we start playing the danger game, and that's actually something that we do. But in the process, I'm like saying, okay, here's what we have to do for safety. Here's what we have to do to make sure it's safe, right? We can't do this or we can't do that. These are the boundaries. So I think the kids see me kind of, skirting past, semi-dangerous things, but being simultaneously pretty mindful of safety issues. All right, I just want to grab some of this solder. Pull this out right here, get some of that out, feel good about that. Let's grab our soldering iron. I can feel that it's hot. Uh-oh, this is not good though. Why don't I have more here? Oh, I know. I think I know why. Did I really do this, what I think I did? I think I did something really stupid. Yeah, I'm going to call that pretty stupid. I think I tied one of the ends of the cord down, I think, and maybe, let's see, did I really tie it there? Looks like I totally did. All right, I'm going to have to get down for a second. Be right back.
Fair enough.
Okay. I can't hear you, Rory, so I'm not, if you're talking, I apologize, but I'm like...
No, we're just engaging in a little bit of play with the CodeRushed shell.
All right.
I noticed that people were trying to change to the moon and to other planets, and that only physically shows up when we have the CodeRushed ship undocked and flying around. So I thought I'd have a little fly around there.
Okay, Rory. My apologies if I interrupted you. I wasn't sure if you were talking about.
It's
Okay.
all good.
All right, so here we go. So now I've got this here. Let's kind of get this to rest in a good place so we can work on it. This is like the other thing that really comes in handy in times like this is one of those tools with the alligator clips on the end of it that allow you to hold a device in place while you're working. So let's come in here. So we should emphasize that Mark doesn't know what he's doing. We should also emphasize, but I'm also going to tell you what I'm doing. So one of the pieces I'm doing is I'm heating up the wire from behind. So get the wire nice and hot before I apply the solder. That's one of the things. The solder is not, does not seem to be attaching itself very much. Why is that the case? And the other thing I'm doing is I'm blowing on the soldering smoke, so it does not go into my lungs. So I'm kind of pushing and blowing it away from my nose. So those are the two things I'm doing. Hold on, let's take a look at this right here.
You haven't got a smoke alarm in that room, have you?
No, I do not think I do. I really don't think I do, is the
I'm not
answer to
sure
your
it would
question.
necessarily be sufficient solder smoke anyway to set that sort of thing off, but yeah. I use a smoke alarm for determining when I have finished cooking my food.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it's a really good timer. It says, yep, your food is now black.
That is pretty cool. All right, so here we go. One more time. I just want to get a little more solder on this bottom piece right here.
Awesome conversation in the chat room. It starts with the suggestion that you almost killed them all.
Killed who?
The sex positive is talking about. I think
Oh,
it was
the
a reference
children?
perhaps to the to the previous story.
I didn't almost kill them all. I'm like pretty good about this. These kids, as far as I know, although we did do this as a disciplinary technique, is whenever the kids would do something we didn't want them to do, we'd be like, yeah, your brother Tony did that once. And they're like, we don't have a brother named Tony. And I'm like, yeah, because he did that thing that you're doing that you shouldn't be doing, right? I got one of my kids in the background like, I knew Tony wasn't real. I knew it. All right, so now we're going to part number 2. We're going to do this side over here. I think in this moment, this is the moment where I'm like, oh, did I really think all of this through? Is this really a good idea? Okay, so
I'm interested to see how this works. I can't quite see a huge close-up of this, but I imagined that you're going to have to close the circuit. So you've now put the two pieces of nichrome wire are now contacting each other?
they are
or not?
contacting each other. They're totally touching
Okay.
each other right now. Yeah,
So
let me.
without that, we wouldn't get a lot of power out of it.
There, I think you can see right there. You can see the loop that I'm
Yeah,
creating
that's
right
good,
there.
yeah.
So let's see if we can get this here.
So, I mean, this is not entirely dissimilar to what happens inside a light bulb, right? Or at least one of the old style ones, anyway, with
Right.
filament in it.
Yeah, and light bulbs are safe, right?
Yeah, in fairness, they are enclosed in a large glass bulb, but, you know.
Okay. Now, for some reason, my solder is not. That's why my solder is not melting. Look at that. I was trying to solder with this, which is identical to, in feel at least, to this one. All right, this one I bet is going to work.
Sadly, sex positive, no. When this explodes, it will not get a Darwin Award. Mark has already had children, and therefore is excluded from such things.
Also,
the idea of a Darwin Award is to prevent yourself from adding to the collective gene pool through your own, shall we say, lack of intelligence. And if you've already done it, it's too late. You can get a sort of a worthy mention, but that's about as much as it gets.
Yeah, I'm not liking how the solder is not really attaching here. It's I have a feeling I have maybe there's a problem with the solder that I have. That's my feeling. fine solder wire is what I have, what it says it is, but I'm wondering if it's missing a component. All right, so what do we got? No, that's not solid. Let's do a little more on here. Yeah, I think that in the past, I usually get solder that's got the rosin core, and I think, and I think the rosin helps with its sticky attach to the wire, the way it sticks, I think. And I suspect that this does not have a rosin core.
What sort of temperature will the solder take? Which is to say, if things go as planned and the nichrome wire heats to 204 degrees, will the solder stay in place?
That's a really good question, Roy. In fact, now that you've said that, I've just realized, oh yeah, we got a problem. Because the problem we have is, okay, if everything goes as planned, we don't have a problem, right? But we also have to build for what if it doesn't go as planned? For example, what if this wire has power and that power doesn't shut off, right?
Yeah.
That is something that we kind of need to be mindful of and should at least plan for, I think. Okay, so we have these connected right here. We have that wire right there, through there. Interesting. Now I'm thinking, you know what I should have done, Rory?
What's that?
And I'll do next time? I'm going to tie knots through the bottom before I tie knots on the top. So I'll tie a knot through the bottom of it, pull it through, then tie another knot on the top. So then it doesn't do this kind of thing up and down, right? So, all right, so here's what I want to...
Could you fold it underneath and maybe use some insulating tape to hold it there?
Yeah, I could, I suppose. As a temporary fix, we can do that for sure.
It will cause it to tend to lean to one side, I suppose.
Yeah, I think we've got enough heavy objects here that we can kind of manipulate that.
Okay. Sequel Mr. Magoo says, at least you can sell the video. I think that's instead of getting the Darwin Award. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Nice.
And Hugo's here. Hello,
Hey,
Hugo.
Hugo, welcome, buddy.
Welcome.
Good to have you here. All right, so let's...
Just to catch you up, we've been doing a whole bunch of, well, what you might call almost real engineering instead of the software engineering. We've got some wire that's been stripped. We're going to ultimately connect it to our relay. You may have seen from yesterday. This wire then splits prior to entering our little, what are we calling these?
I'm calling these detonator caps.
Detonator caps, there we
because I just like to say scary words, you know.
That sounds good, yeah. So the wire splits, it goes in, it connects to our nichrome wire, which is soldered between the two pieces, and the idea is that we'll generate a certain quantity of heat, which will cause the flash paper to ignite. So we're kind of getting there. We've had a few thoughts just recently, however, what happens if it works and what happens if it doesn't. So if it does work, there's this possibility from the table behind us that our wire will heat to something in the order of 200 degrees C, and we're wondering maybe will the solder hold at that sort of temperature. I don't myself know much about soldering or what temperature the solder iron gets to in order to melt it in the first place.
Roy, I bet you could find that right now online. Melting
That's
temperature of solder.
Okay.
I bet you can find it. And if it's, if it's less than
Ooh.
What is it?
Okay. 183 degrees C.
Oh, that's not good.
First hit.
That's not good.
First hit. Now, I would have imagined, are there not different qualities of solder, though? So would it not depend on the kind that you maybe have?
No, this is so here's what we're going to do. We're going to make this as a test, and we'll see if this is going to functionally work. But I think we need a different way of binding the nichrome wire to the to this wire. And one of the things that comes into mind are clamps or something, but something that can take a higher temperature. I think it's a really good point, Rory. So
okay, hang on. I have clicked through. That was just the initial answer, sort of extracted by Google from the Wikipedia article.
Oh, really?
So a little bit here. Soft solder typically has a melting point in the range of 90 to 450 degrees, which is some range. I'm going to need to know more specifically what kind you've got there.
I think here's the thing I guess I want to say on this, Rory. If everything works as planned, the temperature we're going to have is going to be so short that I think it'll be fine. And if anything, what we would see is over time. Yeah, Hugo's actually asking about superglue or epoxy. I actually am, the more I'm thinking it, the more I'm thinking, yeah, I think that if we bend the wire, wrap it around and epoxy it, I think that's got a shot at it. Can you check to see how epoxy does with heat, Rory? See if you can find anything on there. All right, so I'm going to take the ground wire and hook it to one of these wires right here. So the ground wire of our source. And
The strength of epoxy adhesives
Debug
is
it!
temperatures above 350 Fahrenheit, which is 177 C.
so epoxy's
So-
not doing well either under that.
Well, this again is the extracted portion.
Yeah.
I dare say there's more detail in there, but yeah, as a first glance, that's maybe not the best solution
A
either.
little tricky. I'm not sure how we're going to do this yet. So we'll
I love
see.
Hugo's measurement of a temperature range. He says somewhere between hypothermia and spontaneous combustion.
Perfect.
About right.
Perfect. Okay, so let's go ahead and we'll come in here. We'll solder this together right here. And my kids are whispering in the background.
Gotta love stage whispers, don't
Do you hear them? Can you hear them, Rory?
I made out no detail, but there's definitely a... Which, to be honest, is fantastic, because it means they're trying. So,
Yeah. We started homeschooling the kids this trimester. And actually, I've been loving it. My kids, I think, have mixed reactions. I'm like, hey, do you want to do math? And they're like, no! Well, yes, maybe. But
thoroughly enjoyed your puzzle the other day.
yeah, I'm just realizing I look like out of focus here on the, why is that the case? Can we get in focus? Can we get in focus?
I can't tell, there's a little bit of buffering just at the moment.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm like, looks like this main camera is not in focus. I wonder if there's anything there. Hold on, just gonna wipe that down a bit. No, doesn't look like we're focusing at all. Let's see. Camera control, focus is on auto. Let's turn that off and apply and come back and turn it on again and apply. Well, that's better. There we go. Nice. Okay. All right, so we've got ground to ground over here. Then we need to get our positive out into the middle of one of these right here. I need to just refresh my memory on this. Oops, lost one of my pair of clippers, but I can use this one right here. I just want to come in here and see when this is off. Let's check for continuity.
There's a slight concern when dealing with partially explosive things and things just spontaneously fall off desks.
Yeah, I know. It's not my happiest. All right, so here we go. Okay, so when it's off, when the relay is off, these two upper ones, so there's a set of three here. I don't think I can get this close enough to the camera for you to see this. Maybe I can. So here we go. There are three here. When it's off, these two are connected. When it's on, these two are connected. And so there's these three, these three, these three, these three. So I'm going to hook it up in here. So this middle one is like your center line. And when it's off, it'll be connected to the one farthest away from me. And when it's connected, it'll be connected. This connection right here will turn on. So I'm thinking now I'm going to start connecting stuff. That's what I think I'm going to do. I kind of want a longer wire here for the main power to go away from this, but I think from the standpoint of to expedite this, to be a little more expeditious, I'm going to pop it in right here at the side, and I think I'm going to be okay. I think I'm also just going to temporarily, I'm going to get some of this electrical tape and I'm going to put it around my ground over here so that it's just a little more protected from a short. Just like that. Okay. All right. So there's my ground. Now I'm going to put it in here. Make sure these are all nice and twisted. It's kind of funny to turn and watch the live stream and then see, like, you know, rainbows and people in drones flying by. I'm thinking, oh, this is kind of cool. Stream is kind of maturing after 90 episodes. Okay, so there's that right there. Then the other piece, this one right here, is going to go right next to it.
It's a little tricky to see, Mark. You're leaning forward over the second image.
Thanks, buddy, for telling me that. Here, let's I'll show you what I've got here. I'll lift this up as high as we can get this up here so we can see it. Okay.
Okay, that's better. Yeah.
So I have one of the wires. This is my
you say a
ground.
relay has basically 3 points to it, yeah?
Yeah. And we're hooked into the middle, right, with the main power supply right here. So there's our voltage right there coming in. I'm then going to take, am I really going to do this with this instead? I said I was going to do it. I said I was going to do it as a test just by plugging it in and out. But I think I'm going to do this with a, with the relay is what I think I'm going to do.
To some extent, one might argue that the relay is actually a safer way to do it, since you can tell it to turn on and off, whereas the other one would involve you holding two connecting power cables.
Yeah, I do have the ability to I can still switch the relay, and then I can still do the test like I want to test, where I just was going to plug in the power supply in here and then pull it right back out. So it would have power. I would be able to control the duration for the time that it would be shorting out, is kind of what I was thinking. Okay, so let's strip off a little bit of this wire right here. And we'll put it right next to the one we had before that we just did. And we'll pop that in here like this. Just tightening these both down. Good. Okay, so now I think we're ready to take it to the next level. Do I have enough wire to here? I do. Okay, so here I've got this. I'm going to plug this in, and right now nothing should happen because this relay is off.
Okay.
And I see nothing visually, and I'm feeling no heat. So I feel like that's all good. I think I want to switch over now to our source code. And let's write some source code that turns on the relay for a little bit. For maybe like, say, a second or something like that. And for that, I'm going to, I think I'm going to shut down everything that's running.
So what are we going to determine or to list as success here? Are we going to... Are you planning on holding your hand over it and determining is this warm with the potential risk of burning yourself?
No,
or...
I'm gonna say that's probably I can tell when there's a snicker coming from Rory. The answer to that question is no. I'm not going to do that. Of course not. I'm not going to do that. That would be insane.
Suppose you happen to have a thermometer around that you could use to measure the temperature?
No. Well, I kind
Although
of...
200 degrees would be a lot for an average thermometer to measure.
I kind of have a thermometer that tells me when it's over 150 degrees, and I'm going to use that. So that's what my intention is to do. So this is, I'm pretty sure, is relay 1. So let's go look over at, let's see here. Did I start up? I want to make sure I've started up Mr. Announcer Bot. So he's out there running. I've just started him up because I shut him down. This is the source code for the overlays, the drone games, everything. I just shut it down. So I'm just standalone doing a run on the Mr. Announcer Bot. So at least we've got that coming. Let's go into the program. And I think what I want to do on the program is I think I want to do this. Set target relay 1 to true and 1 to false. And let's fix this so it says enter. Or should I just do a delay? How do I do a delay in the console app? I forget what that is. It's
is it just a thread.sleep or something
that's
similar?
That's kind of what I was thinking, but I'm not sure if that's going to actually work here. Let's see if I've got
the threading system.threading, I think, is the...
Let's see if that's all I need, if that's going to do this for me. Looks like I got a thread.sleep and a millisecond timeout. So let's do it. Let's start at 200. So we'll do it for just a bit of a time. We're not going to do we're going to do a relay here at the end, and we're going to say to set relay 1 to true for, and we're going to say 200 milliseconds. Let me just take this and we'll use CodeRushed to introduce a format item there, and we're going to change this to a constant, which is going to be our delay, like that. So it's 200. Pop that there, and then
We
pop that
have
there.
a new person in the chat room. Mr. Hanselman has apparently joined us.
Okay,
And Hugo asks,
great.
welcome. Did you come for the fireworks? Which, you know,
Yeah.
is a fairly appropriate timing.
Scott's here just as the dangerous stuff is happening. Great, Scott.
Welcome, Scott.
I was going to try to be like, maintain my my sense of professionalism, my illusion of professionalism around Scott. But apparently that's about to go if this doesn't work. All right. So here's where we are. We've written the code that has a 200 millisecond delay. We're going to turn on relay 1, wait for 200 milliseconds, and then turn relay 1 off. Theoretically, that's
Now,
good.
Relay 1 is connected, though, to a piece of wire, which is further connected to a piece of nichrome wire.
Right
which
there.
is believed to be, when appropriate ampage is applied, it will heat up.
Based on our calculations, it should go to about 300 degrees Celsius. When that goes to 300 degrees Celsius, that's going to light up the flash paper right here, which has a burning point of about 150 degrees Celsius. The question we're trying to answer now is how long does that have to set to actually light it up? So that's kind of where we are on this. So, as we've said before, I really don't know what I'm doing. And here, I'm just looking at I'm taking the flash paper out here.
Buckle up, Buttercup.
Yeah, buckle up, Buttercup, because here we go. It looks like I need to tear the plastic open. I don't really like that. I want to I don't have scissors here. Let's see if I can get a little bit. I can't get a cut there. All right, I'm going to have to tear, and I'll just put it in another bag later. Okay, so here comes the flash paper. I'm going to tear just a small portion of this. So on it, out. I'm going to fold this so it just sets down on here, like that. I want to make sure the flash paper is in contact with it. Right now it's a little high for it. Okay, so that's theory. That's theory.
Okay, so
That's theory right there. Okay, so now I'm gonna run the let's run the remote detonator. So I'm gonna go do that. Let's change my startup project to just the remote detonator. Click run on that. Starting up. I've got it plugged in.
okay, so we have a console app. You hit enter, it turns it on for 200 milliseconds, turns it off again. A charge is applied, the nichrome wire heats up, the flash paper flashes.
Should I hit enter, Rory? I'm like so scared right now.
Well, I've stood well back here, so I'm safe.
You're good? And you've got safety goggles on, right, Rory?
I've got my safety goggles on, we're all
All right.
set.
And now I guess my backup plan is if this goes to just all heck, I'm going to grab this and unplug it. If this just is this raging inferno of fire, right? That's what I'm going to do. And if it does nothing, then we're going to come back and try applying heat for a little longer. All right. Okay. So here we go. I'm scared to death, but I'm about to hit enter. I'm hitting it right now. Okay. The good thing is I heard the relay click. It went on and off right there. Yep. But I think the bad thing is we're not enough time. So we need to buckle that, bump that up a bit.
But that's a safe test, okay? This was good. We bump it up a little bit more and a little bit more as necessary.
We'll see what happens. All right. We're now going to, and this is all totally theoretical. I don't have any current measurement in here. There is a possibility that we've somehow made a mistake and no current is actually flowing to it, but I have, I'm just trying to think, do I have a great way to inject into that circuit and measure the current? And I think the answer is not a great answer for now. So we're gonna try this, keep doing this, see what happens. So let's run it again with a 400 millisecond delay. Here we go. And I'm about to hit enter. There's the relay that's going to switch. I'm hitting enter now. Whoops, I thought I hit enter, but it... Okay, I heard it click. Nothing happened. Let's go to 800 milliseconds. Change is not allowed while code is running. Okay, go to 800 and run. Press enter. Huh, that was on.
Not a lot
Nothing
of
going.
explosion going on.
Yeah, I'm not very happy with that, is the answer to the question. Now I'm going to 1600, so I'm just going to keep doubling it every time and see what we got here. So here's 1600. And I think when I get to, you know, if nothing's happening at 3 seconds, I'm going to stop, and we're going to maybe have to debug this in another way. Let's just make sure we're touching. We are touching there. Here we go. Here is 1600 milliseconds. Nothing.
So either there is no current flowing out of the relay, or perhaps it is insufficient.
Yeah. I think we're looking at...
Alternatively, perhaps there's something we don't know about. Although a nichrome wire will heat, it maybe takes, you know, there's a certain acceleration of the heat. So it, you know, takes a little while to get up to. Because I know some, what do we used to call them? Certain light bulbs will not heat up initially.
Sad Panda!
Yeah. Yeah. No. So yeah, we're gonna let's do one more on this, one more try. That thing is against that. I'm feeling it there. And we'll do one more time. I'm wondering if I'm just like also thinking, let's kind of really make sure we're right up against that all around it.
Does the nichrome wire feel at all warm?
No, it does not feel warm to me. If we do if I take I'll do an actual test on it, bring my fingers close to it. If we do a test, but part of what I think the other problem we have here is I think our amps, I think no matter what, I think it's safe to say we have too few amps running through it. And that answer could be there's 0 running through it because we miswired. It could be that it's simply not enough to heat it up. So that's kind of what I'm looking at in terms of possibilities for what I think is happening here. But here we go. Here's 3200 milliseconds. We'll try that. Here we go. Nope, not lighting it up. Okay, now I'm going to take this off. Take this away. Is that warm at all? Let's see if it's warm. I don't think it even feels warm to me here.
Bearing in mind we said that we have to get up to something like 200 degrees.
Yeah. So that's feeling like it's not working is the answer to that particular question. So let's double check what we've got. We've got that line to there and that line to there. Yeah.
We are definitely telling the correct relay to fire, yes?
Yeah, pretty sure.
Okay.
I'm seeing it clicking here. Let's do this. I want to go in and I want to, what I'm going to do is I'm going to unscrew these, both of these pieces going in. I'm going to take my multimeter, put it on to measure amperage to go through, and I'm going to measure the current going through it and just kind of see if it is in fact at the 2 point something amps like we said it was, right? We measured the voltage earlier. And
we did check the specifics. We believe this is 24 gauge wire. And from a Wikipedia page, we looked up some statistics, and at 200 and... Let's see, how does this table work? We've got the gauge down the first column.
Yeah, it's 24 gauge.
Off, and each of the numbers afterwards is what the length of wire required... No, maybe not. The length of amperage required to get to that particular temperature. That's the idea, yeah? So... we had 2.76 as our guess, I think it was, or roughly where on the scale we thought it should be.
Rusty F90210 is following. Thanks for that follow, Rusty. Appreciate it. All right, so I am going to take this to here, and let's see if I touch this, if we get anything. Oh, look at this. Why are we getting nothing here? Is it because...
the program would have turned it off anyway, remember. It was only on for 3.2 seconds.
Let me make sure this is plugged in. Yeah, I feel it plugged in. Why is that the case? do we not have, let's check to see if we have continuity between,
Where is it you're measuring the electrical current? Is it from the relay? Because we can't quite see again. You've drifted slightly over the top of it.
no worries. I'm doing something new right now. I'm just want to make sure that from here to here, we see a connection. We do, and I'm seeing the meter move when I touch these right here. So from here to here, we're good. From here,
Because it forms a closed loop.
yeah. So from here, can I measure from there to there? Yeah, I think I can. From there to there, we should have something too. We don't have something from there to there. Oh wait, not from there to there. That makes sense. From here, that makes sense. From here to here, which I've taped up, so I can't get to test that. So I guess I'll take the tape off. At least move it up a bit. Okay, and that's good. So that's a closed loop right there. Let's go back. That means then I should be able to check voltage again, just by connecting like this to here and this to here.
So once again, I'm sorry, but you are in fact leaning over the picture, showing what we would otherwise see you.
No, thanks for that. I appreciate that. Okay, so this is
Perhaps if you switch the relay to the position where the multimeter is, that's probably, if you just switch the two around.
put this
Because you don't
here.
tend to lean over the multimeter's current location, you see.
You want this here like that?
Stream's just buffering, so I cannot tell for certain.
Okay.
But I'm going to hazard a yes.
I just switch those two around. We'll see if that is
That's probably, yes, because we can now see you interacting with that, I think, a little easier.
in. All right. And so if the thing that's interesting is if I come in here and say, okay, attach to here like this, I'm moving a little bit, but not a lot. I'm like not moving here. When I connect these two and measure the voltage of this, I'm like, the needle is barely moving, and I'm like, wait, what? Why is that the case? It's going through the nichrome wire. The nichrome wire might be providing resistance. That could be why. Let's come back over here. I just took off the, protective tape, and we're going to come in here one more time and measure it. Is that probably what it was? It was the nichrome that was giving us that resistance.
Do we have a specification sheet telling us how many amps the relays are expected to output?
The relays will output whatever you put through them.
Oh, okay, so it's just a pass-through.
Yeah, nothing's happening here on this. Why am I not getting... I don't get that at all. That's telling me there's no voltage there coming from this. Really? Let's just double check. Are we plugged in? Feels like we're totally plugged in down here. Are we plugged in? Yeah. We did a test at the beginning of the show with this particular power supply.
Yep.
Now I'm like getting disheartened. Right now I'm like back into sad panda mode here because we're like at, what have we done? How many of these have we? Yeah, nothing is showing up on here. In terms of the multimeter's not even moving now. It moved before and it's not moving now. Okay. I think I got another, I got to figure another way out of this is what I think I got to do. Because, and I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to do that. Because I thought having one backup plan would be sufficient. And now I'm like, oh no. Not even there. I got to get another power supply is what I think I have to do to take this to the next level and see what's going on. So let's do this. Let's not pursue that anymore because I think my other choice I think is unlikely to bear fruit, which is to bring out the Nintendo power supply. We'll save this. We'll save the ignition stuff for tomorrow, and we'll just play a little bit around in the software and talk about the game that we want to build that we want to connect with this, and then we'll wrap up the show. Is what I think I'm going to do, Rory. Are you good with that, Rory?
I am good with that, yeah.
All right,
absolutely.
so we'll switch back over to code view here, and let's close this down. Okay, so let me change this back to 200 for when we do our test again. So again, my conclusion is that there was simply no power. That's at least one of the reasons why that wasn't working. There might be multiple failure points, but one of the failure points we definitely identified was no power coming out of the power supply. Not sure why. So we'll have to figure that out. I have a feeling what I'm going to do is I'm going to break into the Nintendo Wii power supply because it had more amps in it, and I'm going to figure out why that was why that one was broken and why it wasn't working. So for anybody who's joined us late, I tried that at the very beginning, and it was no power was coming out of that. It was for the family Wii that had stopped working a while ago. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to go into I think the overlay manager, and let's get over into TypeScript and go into the CodeRushed part of the game. And I think the layouts, that's what I'm looking for. These are the different layouts for the games that we have out here. And what I want to do is I want to create a new layout, although this one is sample game 3 is kind of super interesting. That's connected to sample 3. Let's kind of do something based on that, because that's got protective walls around me when I'm in this position right here.
For those who have maybe not seen this before, this effectively is just an ASCII art way of specifying a level, an overlay with walls and constructs so that the meteors may emerge from particular points, and indeed they can be obstructed from moving through various things, and the drones can be obstructed from moving through things. It allows us to create quite an intricate layout on the screen and to see in advance what that will look like.
So I'm going to do this. My first protective defense thing is this, I think, right here. Let's see, the circles are the, I'm trying to remember, are the circles the gateways? I think they are. Oh, no, wait, the G's are the gateways.
The G's are the gateways, the circles are the portals.
For the meteors.
For the meteors.
That's right, okay.
So we've got emergent, we've got so again, for those who haven't followed this before, if you just type in !drone, you will be given a drone with your name, your username underneath it, and you'll be able to control that by giving it various instructions. You can see several examples of this in the chat room at the moment. However, it will emerge by default from, I think, the ship in the upper left, the little CodeRushed logo that we've got up there. Having said that, you can say drone 1, drone 2, drone 3, and it will emerge from one of several portals that may be on screen at the time, and therefore you can control where you start. The gateway, on the other hand, have I got this right? No, the gateway, sorry, is where your drone will emerge from. The portals, on the other hand, are where meteors will be emitted from. So again, there's a sort of a variety to how things work, and we can position the emergent point of the meteor and the emergent point for all the various players at different points around the particular level, thus giving us quite an element of control over that.
All right, so we're gonna do two things. We're gonna get the detonation game running, and it looks like it's starting up right now. Oh no, wait, it's not. Hold on. So what we're gonna do? Let me close this down. I got to go back to multiple projects here. Set startup projects. I really wish, so if Scott Hanselman's still out there, this is a feature I really want Visual Studio to have. I wanted to remember my last settings here for my startup projects so that when I switch to just starting up a single one and then come back, it remembers whatever these were before. Because right now what happens when I switch to single startup project, it forgets all these and I have to come back in, deal with combo box, select, combo box, select, combo box, select, and it's slower than I want it to be. Yeah. By the way, I'm in 2017, not 2019 yet. I'll probably switch to that next week, I think. We'll be running in 2019. So we'll run that. Okay, so now let's run. And it's starting up. I hear people moving furniture somewhere else in the house. We're going to clear that, bring back the main page, and we're going to do a test on that, test DT1 as soon as it's done loading. So we're just waiting for the overlay to load. And I can tell it's still loading because the overlay frame has got the scroll bars on it. When those scroll bars go away, it is loaded. All of the overlays are loaded.
So once again, for the benefit of anybody who's not been with us for a little while now, everything you see, the overlays constructed, we've done from scratch, basically from almost learning, or almost knowing nothing, right the way through learning a bit of JavaScript, a bit of TypeScript. We've got some rendered graphics, which are effectively just cut from a video and placed up there using our own engine, constructed again from scratch. And effectively what we've done is it's a web page, okay? It's a web page to which the OBS has been directed to use as an overlay, and thus it is rendering almost as it would in a browser, but just over the top of Mark now, allowing us to have quite a nice interactive layer between ourselves and your good selves in the chat room.
That's right.
So yeah.
And a protective layer too, right? It's an extra level of protection, those overlays, from any kind of incendiary device, devices coming out and harming the viewers. All right, so still waiting. There we go. It's finished loading. Let's try a test on that DT1. There it comes. Nice. Okay, so there is test one. Although I don't see I thought we had a gateway up at the top, and I don't see the gateway coming out. I put a G definitely there. I don't see it. Roy, what happens if you type in drone to get out?
That's a good question.
Let's see, where do you go from?
I came from the
Yeah,
ship.
I do too. What's going on? Do I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Looks like I'm off by 1, 21, 22, 23. Yeah, looks like I'm off by 1, but that
But if
shouldn't
anything,
make a
surely that would
difference.
send things off the bottom rather than off the top.
Yeah, it doesn't really make sense to me why we're not seeing the G for the gateway in there.
Is there any possibility that the gateway was accidentally culled when we took a bunch of our resources out a few episodes back to try and optimize?
I think there's a chance. I don't think that's what happened, though. I don't. That's not my sense that that's what happened. But let's set a breakpoint inside of the gravity game. I think that's where we build the pieces. No, where are we building the pieces here? Let's see if we can do search for gateway. Yeah, there we go. That was the add gateway call right here. Let's set a breakpoint in here, and let's do a refresh of that. Let's start that game again. Test det1. Here it comes, the test. And I didn't see anything stopping in there. Add gateway did not get a breakpoint. Oh, you know why? Because that's not here. It's over here. Close that down. All right. So to get to the drone game, from here we got to come over here. There's the drone overlay. And then I can do the test det1 here, set the breakpoint. This should trigger the breakpoint now. It's not finished loading. That's why it didn't work. Hold on, we'll get there. Let's switch to this view right here. So we're just waiting for this load to finish. It's like serious moving. Can you hear any of that, Rory, or is it just me?
I'm slightly concerned for the substructure of your building. Is it about to crash down on you?
Yeah, it's like, I don't know what's going on. Where do the kids get this, behavior, this idea they can behave in unsafe ways? I don't understand that. I learned it from you, Dad, watching your show. All right. So still loading this up. Once this gets done, I'm going to send it that command. We'll get the breakpoint. We'll try to figure out what's going on with that gateway, why we're not seeing the gateway there. Still loading, waiting for that to change.
I love Hugo. He says, I blame the schools.
I have no idea what's going on. All right, so no gateway.
No gateway.
No gateway. Why no gateway? What's going on? Let's set a break. Let's go back further in time. Whoops. Okay. So let's do start game. Just see if we get in there, I guess. See what happens. See if we can get in start game there. Test at 1. Oh, nice. Okay. So we're there. So what's the layout look like here? I see the G. There's the G right there.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens as we go down through here. Whoa, exception, I think. In add portal and add coin. So add portal, we had a problem, I think, because we just jumped right over it. Let's go run. Let's continue to run. Looks like we are running. All right, let's do it again and see what's going on. Just at 1. We're now at add portal. Let's set a breakpoint inside here. I'm not even sure we're going to get to that. What's wrong here? Add elements, is that? All right, let's step into it. All right. Okay, let's set a breakpoint on add element and run. Okay, now we're on add element. Let's jump into it. We're on add portal. Okay, so our X position is that, and our Y position is 72. We've created a new portal. Whoops, that's where we just had an exception on that. That last line of code. Portal.delay start. Is that really what caused it? Okay, let's run. Okay, let's see what's going on here. We step inside. This background is undefined.
Ah.
Background on portal is undefined.
So in the constructor a little higher up it says if it's not a drone game, it exits and doesn't make a background.
The problem is this, I think, right here. That's, I think, the problem. Let's set a breakpoint there. Well, let's actually, if active, this should be active drone game, I think, is what it should be. Is instance in that. Then we want to make sure we're using active drone game right there. Okay? And I think we're going to be okay. No, wait, what's going on here? Portal background? Where's portal background? Where is portal background? Hold on, let me go back to here. Wait, now we should, oh, I've got to come in here. Let me just undo this.
So it was back game in the test, but you also got back game.
Wait.
Sorry, active back game in the assignment. So
What's interesting to me, so this all works and I can drill into portal background. No problem, because that's inside drone game. But all I did was change active back game to active drone game, like this. And then it tells me that portal background doesn't exist, but it absolutely should, because okay, there we go, it just did it. Okay, I don't know why that.
I think previously you changed the reference in the if statement on line 8, but you didn't change the one on line 11.
Okay, I thought I did, but okay. All right, so there's our portal background, and so that might now work. So let's run, we're gonna get our problem, and set a breakpoint here one more time. Let's come in here, refresh. And Will Bennett did it, but we're doing the refresh, so we're waiting. Thanks, Will, for that, by the way. Test at 1 is what's coming. Once it finishes loading, the second load should be faster than the first one. And then the last thing I want to do, the other thing I want to do, Rory, before we end the show, is I want to figure out when it's actually hitting in my area. And then when that happens, we're going to hook that to some signal R thing, where we'll go back and say, okay, it's hit. Now detonate the fire, right? So that's kind of what we want to do.
Sense.
So kind of ideally cool. And I think my wife, sex positive, is not in the room, so I can say incredibly dangerous as well. Incredibly dangerous. That's the best thing about the danger game, Rory, is you talk about how incredibly dangerous it is, right? That's what we do most of the time.
I think as long as you advertise that it is dangerous, then everyone's taking the right message away.
Mm-hmm.
And that inherently leads to higher safety, right?
Yeah.
If something's dangerous, you can be aware that it's dangerous and take suitable precautions.
All right, so here we go. I just did a test det 1 in there. Let's try to clear that breakpoint. I think I'm clicking it and it's just not updating it in time. All right, I'm just going to run and we'll deal with that. There's the portal, this .background, and we've got a value here for the background now. So that feels good.
That does.
That feels good.
We have a background on which to put things.
And now we got our portal.
There we
our
go.
gateway, I mean, our gateway.
Portal and
gateway. Right, we do.
Functioning correctly.
Yeah, it's good. Okay, cool.
So at which point...
You're going to actually...
Oh. Yes, of course, I didn't say drone 1. Will Bennett did. He's emerging from the gateway, whereas I came from the main rocket ship.
Right. Okay, excuse me. So cool. And then you can go fly under. You should be able to get a drone just by flying under. Uh-oh. Why is that not, I mean, a meteor by flying under. Why is that not giving you a meteor? Is that another thing that we broke in the transition? I bet it is.
Maybe.
Because I've got, let me go check the code here. I've got in the layouts, I've got Coin Game 1, which has a whole bunch of those. Wait, I have a meteor test one. There it is, the portal test. And I don't have a command set up for it yet. So let's set up a command for the portal test here. Wait, is that where I want to be?
Just to give you a heads up, Mark, I've got about 5 minutes left.
Okay,
But
no worries.
as I have said, I've been known to say before, I think you got this.
You think you got this? You think I got this? Okay. So let's just create I'm just going to create a real quick portal test there, portal test. That feels good. Save that. Do a refresh out here. Yeah, I think that we've broken that. That's one of the other things we've broken are the meteors. So we'll have to go look at that. I think I'm going to work on that, Rory, while you go.
Okay.
Or after you go, I mean. That's what I'm going to work on next. I'll work on that. I'll work on the software for a little bit. And we'll see you tomorrow. Should I give away a copy of CodeRushed right now? You want to do that before you go?
I love giving away copy CodeRushed.
Okay, we'll do it. Because it's time for the
Code Rush giveaway.
Every day we give away a copy of CodeRushed. That's the product that I'm using inside of Visual Studio. Works in 2017, 2019, all the way back to like, I want to say 2003 almost. There are versions of CodeRushed that work for Visual Studio. It helps me write code faster. And generally gives me higher quality code too. Helps me debug code faster too. So you're essentially seeing me dog food the product live 3 days a week. Right, that's essentially what's happening. We're not usually doing as much soldering and physical stuff, but sometimes that happens. Today's winner is let's see, watch for it. The winner drops from the Visual Studio menus up in the upper left here. Here it comes.
Don Benito Droid.
Okay, Don Benito Droid. Don. I will reach out to you in via Twitch direct message and give you instructions for how you can get your copy. Rory, thanks so much for being with us. I really appreciate it, and have a good rest of your day, and we'll see you tomorrow. All right, buddy. All right, so Rory's gone. I'm going to keep going, see if we can figure out why the meteors are not dropping automatically. This is code we wrote before. Then we started working on the Dungeons and Dragons Dungeon Master application, and we kind of cleaned things up and made a few changes and didn't really go back to the drone game. And I think in that process we've created a problem here. So let's see. I've got the refresh over here. So let's see, test portal test. And looks like we're at a break point. I'm just going to keep hitting run on this and see what we're going on here. There's that portal test. Roy may have been moving too fast. He was close to the portal, says Will Bennett. Let's launch a drone out here. And this thing, when we've tested this in the past, yeah, we do not have launching drones here. Let's go down to and go to the right 4. And we should just be seeing meteors like crazy dropping out of here. So something's happening with regards to the meteors not dropping. We're going to have to go find, I think, the portal. That's what I called it. There's the drop. Let's just see if this thing is being called. Oh, and I bet this is my problem. Active back game. This should be active drone game. I think that's already the problem right there. I bet that's it. So let's do, I'm going to just move to the left by 3 seconds. Not even getting a drop call. Interesting. Oh, no, wait, we did. Okay, cool. So I think the problem here is if active drone game is an instance of it, then active drone game, purple meteors, and then active drone game again, purple meteors, and I think that's it for the references to active back game. So I think that's it right there. This is refactoring that happened when we split one game into 3 different layers. So that's what I think is happening there. Any other active back games inside of here? Let's do a quick search. Active, back, nope. Okay, cool. All right, so we'll continue and we'll refresh. By the way, one of the things that we learned about Visual Studio that I actually love is that if I write some code in here using like edit and continue in other words, while I'm debugging, I can't set a breakpoint on it until I refresh the browser. In other words, if I try to set a breakpoint and it doesn't work, it's Visual Studio telling me that the code is out of sync with what's in the browser. But as soon as I refresh the browser, I'm able to set the breakpoint over in Visual Studio. We discovered this a few episodes ago, and it's like something I really, really have decided I love. Okay, I'm going to refresh over here. Get ready to do that test portal test again. See if that's just a simple fix, and that's all we need. While that's loading, let's go take a look at the code that we're going to be changing next. It has to do with meteors exploding. Let's go figure out where that is. So I've got a meteor. Add meteor explosion. I'm going to set a breakpoint here, right like that. And so we're going to see what happens with that. Okay, we have finished the load. There's the test. Launch the drones. There we go. There's a meteor coming out. That's what I'm talking about. Add meteor explosion. This is the other piece. Ooh, it's going to be so easy. Look at this. X. Okay. So let's do this. Let's say if X is greater than, and I'm just estimating now. So I've got a 1920 screen. I'm a little off of center. I think center is right about where my finger is right here on the stream. It's pretty close. So 1920 in half is 960. So 960 is here. So I'm going to say if X is greater than 960 and X is less than, what am I, about 400 wide? I'm going to say about 380. Then I'm going to say, let's do like a console write line. Console.log, sorry. I think, do I have a template for CL? Yeah, there it is right there. And we'll say, you hit mark. You hit mark, like that. Okay, we'll send that out. And now I'm just going to run this like this, run it. And I don't think this change is going to occur. I think we're going to have to come over here. We'll refresh one more time. And then we'll check the console and see if it's actually the explosions are hitting me. That condition won't work. Did I mess it up? If X is, yep, I did. Thank you, Hugo, Dahl. I totally appreciate that. And so does Mr. Announcer Guy.
Hugo rocks.
All right, so we're going to come in here. We're going to say if an X is less than 960 plus 380. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Sometimes I do that. I think it's going to work in my head, and I'm not seeing the evidence right in front of me that it's actually not going to work. Okay. Hugo's a digital geologist. Let's switch to this view so we only have one that we're working with in the stream. When I'm in this view, the stream doesn't have its overlays. The overlays are all shut off. And when this finishes loading, we're going to do the test portal test, which is going to just be dropping meteors all over the place. All right, so let's try it. Here comes the test. Here come the drones. Okay, let's bring up our inspector window, bring up the console right here. The uncaught promise, I think, oh, you hit mark, there we go. So we got two of those coming in, but I think we got to be more over here. I'm going to zoom out a little bit right here. Hard to tell exactly where I am on this. Let's try a different idea. let's try, I think we can, here's where we're adding the sprite proxy right here when we get a hit. And I think what I want to do is instead, I want to change that a little bit. I want to say, hey, if it's one thing, I want to do one kind of explosion. And if it's another thing, I want to do a different kind of explosion is what I want to do. And if it's here, I wanted to create one of these, what do we call it? It was like a hue, no, color changing sprite proxy. What was it? I don't remember. Color shifting sprite proxy. That's what I want right there. So we're going to do the red explosions, but we're going to do color shift on this is what we're going to do on it. We're going to make it go like completely white is what I think we're going to do. So it's looking for, what's it starting from number 0. Then it's looking for a vector. So unlike the other one, is that right? What are these parameters down here? That's my X and the Y is 0. Really? Am I passing in a Y? And oh yeah, that's right, because it starts this animation, even though it feels like it's coming from the bottom, this animation goes from top to bottom of the screen. So we'll create a vector for those two pieces right there. So we'll say new vector. Right like that. And then we can pass in optional lifespan. We don't need to do that. Then I think now here we can then do, is that right? Am I in the right spot here? Wait, hold on. New vector, that's my new vector. There's my color changing shift proxy. Then isn't there something in here? Hue shift. Let's say, I want, whoops. I'm forgetting how we did this before. What was our way to do this? Did we just create an instance and mess with its properties? Oh, set, that's what I'm looking for right there. Set hue set brightness call on it. Okay, so let's do that. And then what I want to do is the hue, I don't really care about. The saturation, I don't really care about as well. I'll drop saturation 0. I'll make the brightness go to like 300% right there. And let's just see what happens with that. So now we're going to, with those changes, I'm not going to test here. I'm going to test instead here on the actual stream live. And so once this is loaded, so right now it's loading up a number of overlays right here, but once the overlay load is finished and these scroll bars go away that you see on the stream, we'll do that same test again. Well, then it says you have a template with your outline. I don't, you know what, I was looking away from this when you said that, I think, Will, I was looking away from the chat room. So I'm not sure what you're referring to. I have a template with the outline. Maybe give me a little more detail on that. All right, so let's see, how are we doing on the load? Not finished yet. We're going to do that same test portal test on the live stream. There it is. There's the test. Portals are up. Launch the drone. Go down 4. And then go right 4. And now see, watch the color of the explosion. See if it changes as it comes over me. That one I'm expecting to be different. Interesting. Huh. All right. That was surprising that did not change. Let's see what's going on over here. Let's at least live in a world where we can have a breakpoint. So let's refresh over here. Let's set a breakpoint on this line right here. We'll try it here and see what's going on. Let's see what's happening over here. Hue saturation, brightness. Yeah. So we were also sending the poof command and messing with the color shifting, using the color shifting sprite proxy as well. I am almost wondering, because the code looks like it should work, I'm almost wondering if it needs like a empty cache reload maybe kind of thing. All right, so there we go. We've got that. I think I can close this down for right now. Let's do one more. Test portal test. Drone. And then move to the right. 4, 5, here we go. Now we should see some stuff dropping. There we go, we got one. Interesting, the ones where I thought they were going to go. So we're actually here, set HuSat brightness. There's the color shifting sprite proxy right here. There's its draw call. Set a breakpoint there. Run till we get the breakpoint. We are definitely drawing in here. Okay. What's wrong? Is it just that I didn't notice it? Maybe that's my problem. Are my numbers wrong? Let's bring this all the way up. I'm going to zoom out just a little bit. Oh, I guess I got 75, 80%. I should see everything there. Where's my drone? I don't see my drone. Okay, down 5. And then move right 5. So not yet. Here maybe? That's it. Okay. So it is actually getting called. Let's just run and see if that one, so it's that drone right there. I'm sorry, it's this portal right here. Here's another one coming. Let's see what this looks like. Oh no, that worked. It is working. Okay, why didn't we see it here then is my question. Why didn't we see it live over the stream? So that is working. Let's come back over here. Let's go to our game. Actually, you know what? Before I do this, I want to make a change here. I want to go to our layouts, I think. And instead of doing the portal test, it was this one right here. That was the one that was in the that magic spot right there. Yeah, I guess, but I've got the barrier wall here anyway, so it doesn't really matter. We're gonna have to find a way to do it. So it looks like it's going to do it. So I think I'm okay. I'm gonna go ahead and load it up, and we'll do a test, see if we can blow me up. Test out 1 is not working, and it doesn't look like it's loading up the overlay. Let's go in to the drone game. Inside of OBS, I'm bringing up the properties for this particular layer in OBS, and I'm just going to come here and refresh cache of current page. Click OK on that. It's like loading very quickly. That's not working. Similarly not working. What is going on with that? That doesn't make sense to me at all. Yeah, meanwhile, on the instance of Chrome I have on the other screen, it's working, right? When I'm typing these things in, they're totally working here. So that refresh of the current page doesn't seem to be working. I don't understand that. Let's do, I guess I'm just going to refresh all the caches for all the overlays on this page. And overlay bot, let's get that one, refresh that cache as well. Now I'm seeing some scroll bars like I'm expecting. We'll see if this works. Waiting for those scroll bars to go away. There they go. Okay. There, it works. Okay, yeah, so it was apparently a refresh was required. Okay, so now, so in this version of the game, we can kind of launch ourselves out, but we can't cross this line right here. So we have to figure out a way to get the portal to land on, I mean, sorry, not the portal, the meteor to land on me. So there's my meteor I've got right now. And now I can toss it by typing in T and then my coordinates. So like if I say 22, which is to the, was the X position, and like say 1 for the Y, it'll go shooting off like that. And so that's my shot right there. And so that was a normal one. Let's go down and to the left. Right there. Let's do another one of those. Whoops. Not good. Also not good. Let's go down a bit. All right. Let's go up a bit before I hit that. Okay, and now let's try again. Another toss of 22, comma 1 and see what happens from here. Boom. There we go. Now, that one was not white. That definitely was not white. I think our problem is, oh, I think I know what the problem is. So on the meteor, this is the X position that we are putting this at, right? See, yeah, this is, see, look at what's happening. This is the center X right here. This is the left X, I guess, is what this is. So this is actually good. So this code up here should totally work, but it's not in the right spot. I'm going to, I think I have to tweak this and play with this, which I think I'm going to do. I'm going to keep playing with this a little bit. Let's make this, and let's drop the 960 down here to, let's just create 2 constants here. In or left is equal to, and we'll say 900, and sorry, number, and let's do width and set that equal to, we'll make it 580, and we'll kind of tweak that, I suppose. Draw a box on screen with the coordinates. Fine. Yeah, we can do that. Let's do that. Let's do that. I think we want to do that in drone game. Do it in update screen of drone game. That's what we can do. So we can say, well, it's been a while since I've worked with context here, it seems like. My context dot move to. And let's say go to 960, comma 0. And we're going to say my context dot line to 960 at 1080.
Dude!
You have
Check
2
out the chat room.
crosshairs? Fine. It's cheaper, easier, faster. Good idea. All right, so we're going to say at 960, 0. We're going to do another one at 960 plus 380, comma 0, right there. Okay, so we've got 2 crosshairs there. All right, so let's do that. Let's do a refresh. Tomorrow. One of my kids is like this, and I'm like, no, tomorrow we'll see explosions. Just so I've got your vote. You're good on explosions? You're good with that in the house. Just can't, the conditions we made earlier. We basically, the conditions are if I blow up the house, I have to get the kids a new house, is what I said, right? That was it?
Yeah, and buy us.
And what else?
Buy us everything we want.
And buy you everything you want from that point forward? That's like a really, that was a lot more than I was expecting. Okay, so let's see. We're loading up. By the way, kind of interesting. Here's the game we've been running this whole time. This is kind of what this is looking like now. So it looks like when we're starting up one of the tests, we're not cleaning up all the other pieces. So we might want to add that as something we want to focus on. Kids a new house with a new family too or not? The answer changes that dynamic. Yeah, I hope not. Okay, so we got crosshairs now. And why don't I see, I should see crosshairs now. Oh wait, do I see them? I do not see crosshairs on the screen. Oh, do I need to come in and refresh this cache one more time? It's like, I'm going to try refreshing it and see if I see it. I should definitely see the crosshairs here. Let's refresh over on this side. See if we see the crosshairs here. I got to get a new power supply. I got to find a power supply that's going to work. All right. So currently waiting for both of these, one of these to load, either the one in the stream or the okay, I don't see the crosshairs in the stream. It could also be that I'm like, is that right? Am I not seeing them? Oh no, wait, I do am seeing them in the stream. Sorry, I got them. And they're right here too. I just didn't see them. I was expecting them, for some reason I was looking down at the bottom, expecting them to be down there, and they were up at the top is where they are. So the crosshairs are, there's, let's see, hold on a second. There's one crosshair here. Yeah, okay. So there's one crosshair right here above the mouse, right up there. And there's another crosshair right here above the mouse. So they're not quite, that's part of the problem, I think, is we need to kind of move them over a bit. So, all right, so that's probably why our explosions are not working as well as we want them to work. So let's try 800 and maybe 580. Let's see what we get with that in terms of that range there. Let's put them at about 540 down so they're right in the middle of the screen. So it'll be easier to spot. And let's refresh. And see what happens. All right, cool. We can see the crosshairs right now. So the left is good. The length is too much. So let's go down to 480. Save it. I'm going to refresh right now. Bring it back in. See where the crosshairs come up. Okay, getting closer. Change it back to, let's try 420, see what happens. Refresh. Let's do 400. Refresh. That's not bad. I'm going to make this a little bit more. I'm going to shave a little bit off this, make it a little more challenging here. Let's make this a 830 right there. And I'm going to take 60 off of this, make it 340. See what's happening with that. See if we like that. So you just got to, right above my shoulders is what I'm looking for. That's pretty good. I think that's pretty good. So if we've got something in that range. So we want, the magic numbers are 830 and 340. That's what we want to change over here. 830, 340, like that. And now I can take these two out. Will, thanks for that. As always.
Will Bennett rocks.
Will Bennett rocks. All right, so let's switch this back. Bring it back over here. I've taking out the crosshairs. It's going to take a while to load the whole thing, but once it loads, then we should be able to do the test and to see if we can get a hit to get the white plume of smoke if it hits me. And if it does, then we'll be like, awesome. Not yet, Will. It's well, I said not yet, but let's see. It just finished loading, I think. Let's see if it worked. Drone. Nope, I'm not seeing it. Is this the same problem we had before? Where it says, okay, I'm done loading, but it's not entirely done loading? Yeah, I just hit the refresh cache of current page. I'm just refreshing here. This is what I did before. It felt like it didn't really make sense, but let's try one more time. See if we're at a drone. Nothing. Test. DT1. Not working. Not working, not working, not working. Totally working, by the way, over in this world. Let's just double check it, refresh over here too. See if we can see it there. We'll get that. I'll let that load up while I continue to play on this side over here. I just did another refresh. Now it feels like it's taking longer to load, which is a good feeling to me because before it was just like, okay, I'm ready to go. I wonder if there's a a bug in there in the load that somehow we're seeing sometimes in here, or if it's an issue with OBS, the streaming software I use. Okay, so this is now I think it's going to work, is the feeling I get, because it actually feels like it's loading as opposed to just feeling like, flashing and saying I'm done. All right, and tomorrow we will get back into, hopefully we'll have some power to light up that nichrome wire. So I'm looking forward to that. Let's get test det1 up there. Get ready to get that as soon as these scroll bars go away. Come on. You know what's kind of interesting is I think I started this refresh as well. It was almost as if the refresh browser cache didn't do anything until I refreshed the Chrome one. Is that kind of weird to kind of connect those two? But I'm just trying to figure out why was that not working. Something else that occurred to me about the wire. Are you using AC or DC? I'm using DC. And does that make a difference for it? I think it's really down to current. I don't think it needs, I would just suspect if it needs anything, it needs DC current. All right, so that's finished loading. There's the test. Let's see if drone works here. Yeah, drone works now. Okay, so that's good. So now I can fly over to the right again, and get my meteor, test with my 22,1, and that was lame. And so go back left, and then do my other test with the 22,1. Boom, 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 also lame. We should probably make this first game simpler, but since we have limited explosions, that's kind of the idea, is that, okay, so let's try again. Will is probably at this point thinking about the whole thing and going to figure this out, as he often does. Oh no, ouch. Okay. I do think from about around this point, this is kind of where you want to be, right under this a little bit. Let's go down. Let's go down just one here. Then say test. Test 22, comma 1. I keep liking that number from here. Boom, boom. Not gonna make it. Oh wow, I've got like 1 life left here. And let's do test. Let's do like, say, like maybe 18. So these are meters per second. And let's do 0, and let's see what happens with that. Whoops, sorry. Test 18, comma 0. There we go. Nice. White smoke indicating a hit. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to hook that up. We are going to hook that up, that hit, through signal R to these guys over here. Kind of cool seeing the overlay over on top of this, right? We have drones fly out and drop meters into my hand almost, right? If we wanted to do that. Look, right there. Kind of fun. And hopefully tomorrow we'll have it actually be setting these things off so that when we make a hit, it'll ignite right here, and it'll be that little fun example, and we'll do it. And we'll have it like right underneath the camera. So that is it. I just want to say thanks again to everybody. Thanks Hugo. Thanks Will for being with us. Shout out to Scott Hanselman as well, who was here. Thanks for coming in and watching the show. Everything that you're seeing on screen is stuff that, at least with regards to, that I just got away, just made disappear. But all that stuff we've built live here during the shows in the last 90 episodes, right? All of this animation, this stuff, the Dungeons and Dragons Dungeon Masters app, all of this stuff is out there. We are the source code for all of this is out here. Let me go do that. Get that to you. Will Bennett's showing some of the commands as well in the stream that we've got here. We created a particle system, very cool, with gravity, and so you can see what's going on there. That particle system we're going to use in other things. We've used that as well in our Dungeons and Dragons game for when we have the scroll opening up, and it's got this kind of magic gold dust that comes out. So with that, let me just shoot a rainbow across the screen there, and I'm going to say thanks again to everybody, and we will see you tomorrow.